I remember I was at Consensus last year, and behind the scenes, I was talking to Yatsu of Animoca Brands, and he said, Brian, I think that AI is going to empower crypto because all these AI agents ultimately have to talk to each other and the micropayments. I was on a live call yesterday with Rand Neuner of Crypto Banter, and he said the same thing. He said, in the future, all of our personal AIs are going to talk to our other personal AIs. And he gave a great example. They were both driving in London. I'm driving to the airport and he's driving to work in our AI-powered self-driving cars. And he said, you're in a rush to get to the airport, every minute counts. And I'm going to work and every minute doesn't count. And so your car comes up behind mine and they negotiate a micropayment for me to let you go ahead because there's value there. And he said that could never happen in a fiat currency, in a Web 2 system, but in crypto that can work beautifully and seamlessly and globally and transparently and all that good stuff. And it's a simple example, but it maybe is a really good example.
It is a very good example, I think, yeah. I never heard that before, but it is a really good example.
Right.
Yeah, that could happen easily.
And so do you think that the future of AI is going to have to point right back to blockchain? Because all these AI agents are going to have to communicate. If they have to communicate, that means they have to exchange value. And also, that's probably micro payments, which can't really be done at scale in a fiat world. So do you think it ultimately comes around to blockchain? Because a lot of people, if you ask Sam Altman that, he might say no, although he might admit that it's probably true. Yeah. But the Google people wouldn't admit to it. But do you think ultimately it comes back?
Yeah, ultimately I think it does. And then also there's going to be not a fork on the road, but two kind of ways that we can go about it. There's going to be these large centralized models, and even Mark Zuckerberg was talking about this when the recent Meta launch as well, that their vision is to have millions, hundreds of millions, even billions of agents on the long tail. And I think you even had Dr. Roman recently as well, Jablonski, and even he said that probably the solution lies in like narrow, niche-specific AI, and this is exactly what we do. So there's going to be a large number of these. Is just what I'm trying to get to.
Billions of AI agents.
Billions, probably potentially even more than people are. We have no idea. Like even if everyone has just 2 or 3 doing different things, and then they're gonna have to be essentially transacting by talking to each other, just by validating data between each other. So it is a really good solution, and I cannot give you another one from the top of my head that could solve it other than blockchain.
Right. Okay, so it should come back around.
Yeah.
You mentioned Dr. Roman. I had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and he can go pretty dark on AI, as in he believes that if you give an AI all the information, that ultimately it's going to optimize us right out of the loop. And he did tell me the same thing that you quoted, is that the future for him was this narrow AI. Allow them to work on this biomedical solution, allow it to work on this, allow it to work on this narrow AI. But he said if you're going to give them all the information and go for this AGI, he just thinks it ends. He's a very frank guy. Where's he from originally? Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
right?
He's probably Eastern Europe. I don't know if he's Russian, to be
Maybe
honest.
Or Slovakian. I don't know.
Something like I'm not sure.
He's in America, but he just says there's no two ways about it. They're going to optimize this out. And if you say, oh no, we're going to align the AI, he's like, yeah, and then they're going to optimize the alignment out because it's inefficient. And he just comes back, and it's very hard to argue with him. I've had some big names on the show to talk about this. I've had Mo Gaudet, ex-Google X. I've had Peter Diamandis. I've had Professor Hugo de Garis, who wrote a whole book called The Art of War. Obviously, Dr. Ben Goertzel, all these people going deep. And some of those outcomes, do seem possible. How do you personally deal with the dark side of centralized and AGI in the long run that says it'll basically make humans useless and then maybe even not here?
Yeah, that's a heavy topic in general. We'll try to, get as much information on this as possible. In general, it could be potentially there is a dystopian version of this, which, to be honest, we'll just try not to think too much about it because otherwise we'd be just miserable all day. We're gonna have to trust essentially in ourselves as well, and that's something that kind of essentially blockchain could help, but there's a lot of work to do. And there's something that we really are going to have to pay attention to. It's really hard to confidently say that there's nothing to worry about, because we know how large companies deal with this in general and how they've been dealing with, for example, social media back then. And this is something that's, like several magnitudes more powerful. So we are just dealing with it by not looking that far at the moment, but it could be potentially dangerous, I guess. And I agree with what Dr. Roman said as well, that probably in the near future, one of the solutions could be to have narrow, specialized, niche, specific AI.
And also, some of what you're doing is to potentially prevent that, right? I mean, with Skillful, I can take my skill set and I can own it and build kind of a wall around it, right? And keep it to be mine, at least keep it longer than I would normally, right? Now, maybe I couldn't hold it in the long run, but you're actually providing a way where I don't get optimized out of the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's big.
Absolutely. Or maybe that version of you can keep working essentially when you are not anymore. That's doing the work that you've been doing essentially. In some cases, that's also possible.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.